It's Jefferson, climbs the ladder. Oh my goodness!
What is going on, everyone? It's AP over here at Rump Your Sports, bringing to you once again. We got the Strokes Game Show, 4-man booth tonight for the Scottish Open. Let's bring the crew in. Drew, Red Kachik, let's start with you, man. How are you feeling about this week? Are you excited to get past the Birdie Fest? Or, I mean, I guess if the weather is benign this week, we could see a Birdie Fest. But if it's windy, then it could be really tough. I assume that's correct.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be pretty nasty on a couple days this week. So, yeah, I don't expect this to be a birdie fest. It's an easy golf course for the most part. But, yeah, I think the wind really tames it down quite a bit. So, yeah, it's nice to get past the Rocket Mortgage and the John Deere Classic. Lost a mortgage, had the Rocket Mortgage. But, yeah, looking forward to this. And then we roll right into the British Open. So this is a fun event, like a little change of pace. The field's decent. It's not one of the best that we've seen this year for an elevated field. But, yeah, it's a fun change of pace seeing some Scottish golf right before the British Open.
Yeah, I mean, links golf, always a ton of fun, especially just we get golf in the middle of the night. So I always enjoy the next 2 weeks. It's going to be a lot of fun. Weather's always, a really huge factor. That's something that we're going to have to keep an eye on. Snyder, let's bring you in. What's going on, my man? How's your week going so far?
Yeah, it's going pretty good. Looking forward to this event here. A little different type of golf here across the seas. Hopefully I can have some better run out than I did last week. I had 3 guys like right inside the top 5, top 6 for outrights last week. Sepp Straka is not one of them, though. But
I mean, get better, Snyder. I mean, come on. You didn't have Sepp? He wasn't an outright?
Should have bought him at 150-1 after his first round, I think.
I didn't play him. That's my boy. 2-time workbench player of the week, and my bum ass played what's his name? Dylon Wu.
Dylon.
I mean, he checked one of the boxes. He outkicked his coverage. We'll just say that. He definitely outkicked his coverage. Locks, let's bring you in, my man. You're moving right now. I think you just bought a new pad. How's it going? How's life treating you?
Yeah, man. Moving around, it's a pain in the butt. We all know that, I'm sure, but it is what it is. Excited for the family. So super exciting stuff. Just kind of finished yesterday. So a lot going on. Excited to be here this week. Didn't think I might not be able to make it, but glad to be here. I'm glad I could make it on with you guys. Glad to have Drew and just excited for another good event.
Yeah, I'm glad to have all 3 of you on because I got to get the mojo going right. It's been not the best 3-week stretch for me, but feeling very confident, very dialed in, excited to break this course down. I think weather's going to play a huge role, at least the wind. It's too early to predict, but like if the current forecasts hold true, like Sunday looks brutal. Like they're predicting like 30, potentially 40-mile-an-hour winds on Sunday. Like if that happens, it's going to be you could like if that happens, you could be feeling super good going into Sunday. I would not be feeling good. Like anything could happen in that type of weather. On that note, everyone, before we get to Snyder's breakdown, hit the like button, hit the subscribe. It helps us out a lot over here at Rump Your Sports. We got a code going on right now, Summer33, 33% off your first payment. Take advantage of that. I don't think that's going to be around too much longer, especially with NFL coming back here shortly, college sports as well. Snyder, give us a course breakdown this week.
Yeah, we're across the pond here for a couple of weeks to play the Scottish and British Opens over here. This week, obviously going to see a link-style track here at the Renaissance Club. This will be the 5th time this event's been played here at this same course, so we're going to have some recent history to go off of there at least. It's a par 70. It's going to measure 7,237 yards. It's going to be set up differently each day depending on the winds, I think. Yardage-wise, they can move that around depending on how the winds are there. 3 par 5s, 5 par 3s, kind of unique there with 10 par 4s making it the par 70 there. The biggest defense here is the weather, like we have kind of already hit on a little bit there. So we must pay attention to this leading up to lock. Lock's going to be a lot sooner this week. I believe it's like 2 a.m. lock Eastern time this week. The greens are going to be rolling much slower here as well, as they're fescue-based greens here compared to the traditional bent grass, Bermuda grass, POA that we see over here in the States. last year when conditions were good, Cameron Tringali went out there and shot 61. But then as the weather worsened, like we could see this week, the winning score was only 7 under coming in. 2019 saw greater weather here. So the winning score that year was minus 22. The winds are expected to be picking up as the weekend comes along. So I think we could see some of those guys teeing off early Saturday, coming in back into the mix there even as well. The fairways here will have plenty of run out here, making it easier for the shorter hitters to have success here. I would also like to look at good approach players, guys with good solid around the green play as well. Some other key stats to be looking at this week: strokes gained approach off the tee, par threes 200 to 215, opportunities gained, and then around the green play as well.
Yeah, that 2 a.m. Eastern start time is always fun. Next week's going to be even more fun. 2 years in a row now. I mean, the thing that we do, it's usually members only, but I think we get the stream going all the way up to lock, 1 a.m. our time, Snyder, 2 a.m. Eastern. Last year, we had 250, 300 people sweating on, going all the way till lock, and then we all crash. But it's funny because last year, my wife comes in 1 a.m. She's like, "Who are you talking to? What are you doing?" I'm like, "You're good. Just go back to bed. You're good." Remind me of the Jake from State Farm commercial. But anyways, we'll be doing that. I'm pretty sure we'll be doing that again next week. Always a ton of fun, getting people on there, having some drinks, having a good time. Let's dive in, though. How we do it, if you're new with us, we go tier by tier using DraftKings pricing. We're going to start with the studs, 10K and up. That's Patrick Cantlay to Scotty Scheffler. Drew, I'm going to start with you, man. What are you doing with the top tier range this week? And specifically, because we already had a question in chat from Travis, are we locking Scotty Scheffler in single entry formats? I think that might be tough to do, but what's your opinion on the top tier range and Scotty Scheffler?
Yeah, so 3 of these 4 guys played last year. 2 of them had really good finishes. Xander finished first, and Cantlay finished T4. Scotty is the guy that missed the cut. He was right in the middle of right at the end of his really hot stretch. So again, the kind of a weird golf course with the weather that can pick up. So yeah, I mean, the elephant in the room is Scotty Scheffler. I mean, he's far and away better than each of these 3 guys as far as how consistently he's been playing. I mean, off the tee is great. I mean, honestly, Rory's probably the only one better than him off the tee. Approach is better than everybody in this tier. Around the green is better than everyone in this tier. Putting has been lacking. So like you said, I think the greens here are actually really easy. We saw a lot of putts made outside of 10 feet last year. I think this was the highest made putt number. Average made putt was 3 feet, which is usually 2.5, 2.25 feet. So all that to say, I think the putting is going to be negated a bit. So I think Scheffler, the more I've looked at it, when I first saw his price, I was like, there's no way I'm going to play 11.6 Scheffler as I go down into the cheaper guys. But I think Snyder will hit on this in a little bit. There's a lot of cheap guys that we can play, a lot of European guys that didn't get, a price bump. And I think Scheffler's the guy that you got to prioritize in single entry contests. He's been playing so consistent. I don't anticipate a miscut here. I think he's going to get ready for the British Open with a good finish here. As far as the other guys there, McIlroy is really scary just off of what he's done for the last 3 months. He's getting into contention and then not finishing it off. His approach numbers aren't the best. And then Cantlay, I just don't play. So it would really just be Scotty and Xander in this tier for me. Xander's been playing great all year pretty much. And 10-4 is a little bit steep, but not the worst price considering the guys just below him.
Yeah, Xander also, I feel like Xander would also benefit if we do get the wins. Seems like he's played pretty well in poor conditions, especially windy conditions. So I like that call. He won last year. That doesn't concern me at all. We've seen guys go back-to-back all the time. So I like that call. I'm with you as well. I mean, Scotty is a little difficult to fit in. But again, if you go with some of those Euro guys, some names that aren't as familiar for most of the people that are going to be playing this week, that's kind of how you can make it work. Snyder, let's go to you. What are you doing with this top-tier range this week?
Yeah, I think I'm going to try and jam Scotty in still. I mean, I've played him every time this year. Going back 9 months, he hasn't finished outside of 12th place. So it'll be interesting to see if he can carry that over to a full year stretch of never finishing outside the top 12. He did finish 12th here in 2021, so he has a little bit of form there. maybe last year he was on the wrong side of the weather draw or something. I'm not sure. I can't remember that far back, but definitely going to be back on my guy Scotty. He's finished inside the top 5 the last 6 events. I just think if the putting is somewhat negated here, I mean, this is a spot where he could just wax the field here, especially with there's some names here, but nothing anywhere near the talent that he's been playing at. But I guess there's really no one that's been playing on his level as a whole this year anyway. So definitely going to be jamming in Scotty. Like, I do think there are some good guys down in the 6K range, mispriced, that are excellent Euro Tour players that we can go to. So we'll get there a little bit later. But if I was going to play another guy, I think I would fade the Rory chalk. And then I think Rory and Scotty are still going to be like 2 of the highest owned guys on the slate, which is kind of wild. But I would fade Rory. I think I'm going to go with Cantlay over Xander too. I think maybe Cantlay comes in a little slightly lower owned. They'll probably be very close. So I think probably both right in that 15 to 20% range. But Cantlay's coming off a 4th place finish, was 4th here last year. Has a little bit better recent form coming in than Xander does. So I think I'd just take the 200 savings if I was going to do that. But definitely Scotty 1 and then Cantlay 2 for me.
Yeah, like Rory, I don't know. Like, I hate to, like, you know, fall into the trap of the tune-up narrative. But with Rory, I don't know. It kind of feels like that might be true. I mean, going next week to a place where he won at. And I think it was his last major championship that he won, right? So, I mean –
yeah, 10 years ago.
10 years ago. I mean, if you're him, like, how are you not thinking about next week? So that is the one guy that I'm a little concerned about. Concerned both ways because he's been playing really good. He could nuke here. I think I would almost like him a little bit if the conditions were predicted to be a little bit more benign than what we're seeing. Locks, what are you doing with the top range over on DraftKings?
Yeah, I'm actually going to be a little bit different here. I think I'm going to be lower on these top 2 guys and actually heavier on Schauffele, number 1, and Cantlay, number 2. I'm going to be going there. I'm going to take the ownership discount for them. I like them both at this course. Cantlay played well here last year in his only time I think he's played here. But I like those 2 better. Rory, like you said, I think he's kind of in a tune-up. I think he wants to win another major. I still think he finishes well. I'm not going to be playing him at that ownership here. I'm just going to get some leverage. And then with Scotty, yeah, I'll have him in my pool a little bit. I'll be underweight to the field. I just don't know. I don't feel it this week. I think maybe he is kind of gearing up for this major too. 6 times his last 6 events in the top 5. That's just insane. It's so hard to do that, but he just continues to impress. So you can't take the guy completely out, I don't think, but I'm going to be under the field personally. Yeah,
very good. As we go into this next range too, I think depending on what your strategy is, how many builds you're making, you can also make the case to fade this 10K and up range because the 9K range, as we're going to talk about, is incredibly strong. There's a lot of really good golfers. I'm running 3 builds this week. My rule is I got to play Scotty in 1. I mean, I think that's a rule that we all probably agree on. The guy's just in another class of his own when it comes to ball striking. And if, Drew, if you're right about the putting, if it's negated here a little bit with how these greens are, that's only going to benefit him too. So it just makes the case a little bit stronger. The price is just really tough. But again, you can make it work as we go dumpster diving. So I think if I had to play one player, it definitely would be Scotty, just because I'm leaning. Like when I look at Cantlay, when I look at Xander, Rory's most likely my fade. But when I look at those other 2 guys, I don't see a lot of separation between them and then some of these guys down in the 9K range. So on that note, let's transition. Let's get down to the 9K range. Drew, I'll kick it right back over to you. What are you doing with this range? I mean, we got Ricky Fowler obviously coming off a win. Hatton, he's been playing awesome. Hovland's been playing awesome. Fleetwood. I mean, this range is loaded, absolutely loaded. What are you doing with these guys?
Yeah, this is probably the toughest range as far as like a slate breaker for hand building and probably even like your player pool in 20 max or greater. You could probably make a case for every single one of these guys, and some of them might be a little bit skewed towards the European narrative. But I think a lot of these guys are playing so well. And to your point, they're not that far below where, Cantlay's been playing or Xander's been playing. So yeah, my number 1 guy that I'm going to be playing in this range is Ricky Fowler. And it's really for 2 reasons. I don't think he has a major hangover off the Rocket Mortgage. Number 2, he's been playing great all year. So even if he hadn't won the Rocket Mortgage, I would probably be looking to play him here. He would just be a little bit cheaper, unfortunately. And the third reason is his record in the British Open. And I'm just going to try to comp this golf course, potentially the conditions a little bit to the British Open. The greens are slower, a little bit less penal on the driving accuracy. It's just about driving distance for the most part. And Fowler I think he has 3 top 5s in the last 11 years or so. And even in the last, we'll say 10 years, he has made every single cut with a T2 and a T6 in there. So I think Fowler is my favorite play in this range, just to kind of continue the hot streak, and potentially he gets into contention next week. So with that being said, the rest of these guys it's the hardest cut for me. I think Fleetwood and Hatton are both fine. I lean a little bit more Hatton. The fades are going to be at the low end for me. I haven't really been playing a lot of Lowry. I've been struggling when I have played him. I've gotten him on wrong weeks, and then I play him, or I don't play him on the weeks that he pops off when he's looked terrible. So I'll probably just wait it out on Lowry and see if he's a play for next week. And then same with Wyndham Clark. I'll fade Wyndham Clark at 9K. The last guy there is Hovland. I think off the tee is a huge value at this golf course. He missed the cut here last year. So I'm kind of torn on Hovland a bit at 9,700, and I won't be playing any Fitzpatrick. But yeah, Fowler's far and away my favorite play in this range. I think he's such a good price to build some really, really solid hand builds.
Man, the thing about Ricky, when you look at it, it is so impressive. And I know we keep saying this. I mean, the comeback that he's had and how he's playing, but what he's doing and how consistent he's been is so impressive. I hope he's under owned here because, obviously coming off that win. But it doesn't matter. The guy has just been consistent. I think he's more confident than ever. I think the price still hasn't adjusted enough. I think if he was like 9,800, 9,900, I think we would be like, I would play him like Matt Fitzpatrick is 9,800. I'm playing Ricky Fowler over Fitzpatrick. Yeah. I just am. Yeah. And so like, just to compare those two, that tells me that the price, even though like 9,500 is getting up there for Ricky. I mean, I remember 2 years ago, on the show, Snyder making fun of me for recommending, like we all went through the cycle, Uncle T, Snyder, like where we're all recommending Ricky Fowler and then making fun of each other because he was so bad. Not the case anymore. The guy is playing some incredible golf. Like it's almost like he stole his buddy Justin Thomas's powers and now he's using it, against him. That's like what it seemed like, to be honest. But I love the Ricky call. I'm with you on him. Snyder, what are you doing with the 9K range?
Yeah, this is an interesting range. I do think that we're going to see Ricky probably the highest owned guy in this range. Him and Fleetwood, I think they're both going to be pretty much up there. Hatton could be within a couple of percentage of that as well. I don't think any of them get too high, though, like maybe 17 to 20%, I think was what we see those three guys come in. It's just kind of pick your own poison there. I would probably go, to be contrarian for tournaments and stuff, I don't mind going to Fitzpatrick. I think we're going to get Fitzpatrick at half the ownership of these guys. He's got just as much win equity, I think, as those guys. If you're playing those large field tournaments and you look at his recent form here at this course, sixth last year and second the year before here, doesn't enter in as good a form recently as those other guys there. Ricky coming off the win. You got Hatton with a couple of good top 5 finishes over the last 6 events, and then you got Fleetwood with a couple of top 5s as well. So I don't mind playing some Fitzpatrick in tournaments to kind of get different. I think he'll be 5 to 8% ownership versus 17 to 20% of the other guys. So I think that's interesting for tournaments there. I don't think I'm going to get the Spieth or Lowry or Wyndham, though. So it's going to be I think I would play Fowler or Hatton if I was going to play one of those 3 guys. I know Fleetwood will get a lot of love here. He's got good course history as well, a 4th and a 2nd in 2 of the last 3 years here. But I think I might go to some Fitzy actually for tournaments to kind of get different and then play some other chalk elsewhere that I like. I think that'll be chalky as well. It'll be the spot I kind of get different maybe.
Yeah, I like that. I like that call quite a bit. The range is just absolutely loaded. He has his braces off. I think that happened a few events ago, but still, gotta think that helps him out a little bit. Locks 9K range. One guy no one's talked about, is Mr. Wyndham Clark. Is this guy that you're considering at all, or are you off him? And then what are you doing with the other guys in the 9K range?
Yeah, honestly, with Wyndham, I'm not sure. I was kind of hoping you guys could talk me on or off him, and nobody's even talked about him. So I might just have to X him out, honestly. I don't know. I never get the guy right. So it's a guy that I don't think I like at this course. I know he finished well here last year, 16th. Nothing special, but I'm going to cross his name off this week, I think. I'm going to cross off him, Lowry, Spieth, and probably Hovland in this range. But I love your call of possibly fading that whole 10K and up range and starting here because I absolutely love Fowler, Fleetwood, Fitzy, and Hatton in that order. These four guys have been playing great golf this year. Fitzy isn't playing that great right now, but he's really 49th, 17th, 20th, 9th. Is that really that terrible? No. Coming to a course he likes. So maybe he finds something here. Super low ownership, like Snyder said. So I'm definitely on board with you, Snyder, with Fitzpatrick this week. With that leverage you can get with him, I like it. And then for me, it's really Fleetwood and then Fowler. I love those two guys. I don't care about the ownership. I don't think it's going to get too high. Those are just two guys I want to have this week that I think are going to play really well here. And then Hatton for the ownership. I think I'm going to be under the field, but I still want to play the guy because he has immense talent. We all know that. So I can't completely fade him out, but I'd say he's my lowest owned out of those four guys.
Yeah, so I brought up Wyndham Clark because I actually kind of like him, and I could do my best to try and convince you, to hop back on him, Locks. But just playing on,
listen.
Just playing on that tune-up narrative.
They're playing that same putter, aren't they? They're playing that whatever that.
Oh, I have no idea, Snyder. I never paid attention to that.
You can't go against a jailbreak.
Is that a good thing then?
Oh yeah,
supposedly.
Snyder. That's why you own me. I gotta Snyder always bullies me every week. Just the freaking bully right there. It's hurtful, but no. So playing on that tune-up narrative, guys like Ricky don't need a tune-up. They already feel good about their games. Wyndham Clark, U.S. Open champion, he doesn't need a tune-up anything. I almost like the idea of playing. Even Tommy Fleetwood's playing good golf. I really like the idea of playing some of these guys that have shown really good form coming into this event. They should. They're going to be. Everyone's focused on next week, so they're still focused on this week and trying to win. If any of them find themselves in contention, they're obviously going to try. If they're out of contention, I worry about those guys. The guys that on Friday that are kind of out of it and just want to punt and move on to the next week. That's always a concern, but I'm not going to really factor that in. So Wyndham Clark. The price does feel kind of high, but honestly, the guy's been incredible. He has 2 wins on the year. Wells Fargo, U.S. Open. He's been, ball striking machine. His around the green game is good. His putting's good. I don't know. I have some interest for sure. I think this range is loaded, though. Ricky Fowler, Tommy Fleetwood, Wyndham Clark, absolutely love those guys. Hatton's been playing some great golf. Obviously, he plays really well on links tracks. You can make a case for almost anyone in this range. You really can. So it just comes down to who are you gonna fade. And I don't have a strong lead. And my lean was Matt Fitzpatrick because he's 9,800, and these other guys I put them ahead of him, and they're cheaper. So again, that could make his ownership lower too. So if you want some leverage, I think it's an interesting play as well. But I love this range, and I'll be honest, for 2 of my 3 builds, I'm going to play around with the idea of just starting this range and see what the builds look like. Let's keep it going, though. If you haven't yet, hit the like button, hit the subscribe. Summer 33, 33% off. I don't think we're going to be running that promo too much longer, so take advantage now. We got majors coming up, MLB's resuming, I believe, on the weekend. A lot of stuff going on right now. Drew, I'm going right back to you. 8K range, a lot of names down here. Max Homa, he's been like a 9K guy for a long time this year, but he's kind of fallen off a little bit. So I think that's an interesting person to discuss. We got Justin Rose, Tom Kim. I think he did very well here last year. And then Sammy Burns, 8,400 just feels too cheap. And then we got a guy, I can't even bring up his name, so maybe one of you guys will. But what are you doing with the 8K range?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, I'll be going.
Locks, you can't bring up his name either, man. You're a homer too, so hopefully these guys bring him up, right?
I'll talk about JT for a minute.
Oh.
I think my favorite guy I want to target, and hopefully he gets overlooked, being bunched into this.
Jason talks. Sorry.
I know who you're talking about. I think there's probably more I don't know, bad omen on Homa than JT, but we'll get there. I think Aberg. We don't really. I mean, Aberg was he from Sweden?
Sweden, yeah.
Yeah, so he's European, but again, he's mostly Americanized. He's kind of like the Rory McIlroy. Like Rory says he's from Ireland, but the dude hits it higher than any American player that's ever played the game. So he's not really Irish from a golfing perspective. He's not like Shane Lowry. So all that to say, I think Aberg's a really interesting play, and I hope he gets overlooked a bit. I mean, he's been playing incredible. Off the tee's a weapon. I do think off the tee here is really good. I think last year I had it pulled up. I think like the top 10 average, like 305 off the tee, which was like 20 yards over the field average of the prior season. So I do think Aberg is really interesting. I'm fine with Homa. Homa we saw back at the Rocket Mortgage, even leading into the Rocket Mortgage. You started to see some signs off the tee and on approach. Finished T21 of the Rocket Mortgage. I think he'll be one of the lowest owned in this range, to be honest. And if Big T was on there, he would hate it. So it would probably lower his ownership. So it's too bad Big T's not here. I think Justin Rose is fine. I'd probably be underweight the field if he is going to be chalky. But as far as JT goes, I mean, the guy finished, 8th here 2 years ago. He just showed signs of life at the Travelers. If he's going to be lowish owned, let's just call it like 8%. I want to have a little bit of exposure to JT before the British Open. I would feel really, really naked and really exposed if I don't have a little taste of Justin Thomas before we get into next week. So no real hard, stats that I can point to besides he did show signs of life at the Travelers. And again, he could find it at any point. Maybe he swaps it with Ricky now that Ricky won. Sam Burns is fine. Off the tee, looks good. He didn't play great here last year, T66. The guys I'm going to fader at the bottom, Adam Scott, Corey Connors, guys that I don't think, like from a Corey Connors perspective, he's so consistent tee to green, but I don't think this golf course is that demanding tee to green. And I do think you're going to have to make some putts, even though like the winning score last year was 7 under par. So I'd really kind of lean towards that mid-range. Aberg's probably my favorite. I do like Homa, Justin Rose, and then JT kind of as a filler, I guess, with Sam Burns.
Yeah, I like it. I always thought like Link's style maybe would help a guy like Justin Thomas has been horrible. But if you think about it, a little bit more open, you can miss. When I always think of Jordan Spieth when he was really struggling off the tee, didn't really matter because he did it all with his around the green game, and that's like been the only thing holding JT together during the stretch. But still, he's been playing so bad. It's more of just a pure leverage play if you think the ownership is going to be like low enough.
He's had some really bad finishes and some like really weird events. Like the U.S. Open was terrible. The Rocket Mortgage, he lost 3 strokes around the green. But I mean, even prior to that, and like I said, at the Travelers Championship, like his stats don't look terrible. Around the green is negative and putting is negative, but like off the tee and approach have been positive. So I think there's still signs of life in JT. It's just a matter of I don't know what his deal is around the green. Is obviously a struggle, but then putting. So he's still beating the field in proximity. So like I said, I think there's signs of life for JT. Will it be this week? I don't know. But I would feel pretty bad about fading JT at the price. If he goes off and wins and he's 10K or something next week, it would be pretty awful. So like I said, I don't think JT is playing as bad as his results have been the last month or two.
Yeah, and it really, like for me, the decision, like you got Sam Burns, you got JT, both seem to be, leverage options, sub 10% for sure, maybe 5 to 7%. And then you got Aberg, who looks to be the more popular one in this range. Schneider, let's go to you, 8K range. A lot of names down here. I know you're not playing JT. It looked like he ate an edible at Wimbledon. He was sitting there, looked uncomfortable. Could that help his game? I mean, it's helped me before. And I got to bring this comment up real quick, too, because, Jason, I did chip. All right, so real quick story. We were playing a skins game, 5-man. I think we were playing 25 skin, five people in the group. We had 4 carryovers. I chip in for a birdie on the toughest hole at Firethorn on number 12 to to scoop all of those skins. It was very tasty. It's like a $500 hole. It was nice. It felt really good. Outside of that, you do not want me chipping. I'll tell you that, Jason. I would take Locks and Drew, and I'll drive the cart. I'll drink the beer, the booze. That's what I do good at. I'm not that good at golf though. But Snyder, talk to us about the 8K range.
Yeah, there's a few guys that I like here in this range. I honestly thought Minwoo Lee was going to be higher owned coming into this, and I see his ownership's right around 10%, which is very inviting to me here. I'm definitely going to be on him this week. He's got great form leading in. He played the British Masters a couple weeks ago overseas here. T9 at the Elevated Travelers, T5 at the U.S. Open, his last tour starts. He won this event a couple years ago as well, so I'm going to be on some Minwoo at, I think, 10% or less, it looks like. I think the price tag is going to keep his ownership mitigated here with the 8.9 price tag, as a lot of people will be going to Aberg here. I think he's a great, solid option here this week. For tournaments, I think I might want to slide down 100 less to Adam Scott, who's kind of shown some upside here as of late over the last couple of months. He had a couple of top 10s. Now he comes back overseas. He's generally played well overseas, so I think we could see him pop here. And then Tom Kim was the other guy I was looking at last year. He finished third here last year, and that kind of began that little tear he went on to close out the summer. The ball striking has been there for him. The putter has not been. That's been holding him back as of late. And with this different type of golf over here, the different types of greens, the slower grass greens over here, I think that could help maybe re-spark his game here. So I don't think his ownership's going to be too crazy either. I'm seeing him right around 7 to 10% as well, and he's got some of the best win odds. I think besides Minwoo Lee, he's got the best win odds in this 8K range. So that's interesting for me.
Yeah, very good. Before I go over to Locks with Aberg, any of you guys have any concerns just traveling, recently from the John Deere and then, hopping out there, or is just not a concern at all? Drew, any concerns with that?
No,
I mean, he's got these guys. They all get private jets, and I mean,
and he's young. I mean, he's probably just
he's
excited to get invited to this or be able to play in it and then get ready for the Open. So I don't know. I mean, the only downside would be he hasn't played this golf course, I assume, until today or yesterday. But that's about it. Really quick comment on Snyder though. Really quick, out of everybody in the 8K range, for anybody to answer, over the last 6 weeks, who do you think has been the best putter in this range?
No looking. Come on.
Yeah, just right up. Just look into the names. Who do you think is the best putter
Adam Scott.
I just looked. I can't answer.
Adam Scott.
It's Adam Scott.
Yeah, I look.
He used to be the worst. Like he's doing it on the greens now. It used to be he used to be the solid guy. Like, hey, he's not going to miss it. He used to be like the Corey Connors, just a little bit longer and obviously better looking. But he used to be the guy that like he wouldn't miss greens. He would hit bombs, hit fairways, and just could never make anything. That's why he had the broomstick. Now he's the best putter in the world somehow. So interesting change of events from Adam Scott this season.
Yeah, that is interesting. Locks. Haven't forgot about you, my man. 8K range, a lot of options down here. Adam Scott, I mean, we'll start with him. What are you doing with him? You do believe in the putter? And then you got to mention JT, too. Are you going to play him this week? Or, I mean, what are you doing with our boy?
I mean, AP, I can never cross JT off. I can't just talk about him all the time and just completely X him out. So I can never X him out, It's a guy that's got too much talent. If I can get this dude under 10%, I'll gladly play him every single week. I don't care. I'll keep burning money. It's fine. It's one of those things where I'm going to be pissed off the week I decide to get off of it. So I'm going to keep jamming him. I love JT. I agree with Drew. I don't think he's not playing as bad as his recent results. And I just think at a course that he's had decent history at, yeah, he missed the cut last year, but 8th and 9th before that. Maybe he can find something again. And if the putting's negated, that's another guy that it's going to help out. So I don't mind a little JT. And for me personally, I'm not going to be playing Scott. I'm not going to be playing Connors. Aberg, I'm going to see what I'm going to do. If he gets close to 20%, I might fade him here. I don't know with him yet. It depends on his ownership, I think, for me. So I'm kind of on the fence with him. No Burns for me, no Sungjae, no Rose. The only other guys here. So for me, I'll just go in order. I mean, it's going to be probably Homa, JT, Tom Kim, Minwoo Lee in that order for me in this range. I'll X out everybody else.
Do you guys think it's all mental with JT? As you look at JT's stats from every event, it seems like it's something different every single event that he's missing on. I was kind of wondering if you guys thought it was just
definitely
like mental.
I mean,
yeah,
well, Rocket Mortgage, when he was missing like those putts inside 10 feet, he looked like he wanted it. Yeah, he was pissed. So I don't know. It has to be mental. Again, that's why I'm playing 3 builds. I'll probably play him in 1. I feel pot committed. I do. I don't like the play, but if we can get him at 5% ownership, I like it a little bit more. I mean, I don't feel good about it, but it's pure leverage. And
it's one of those things, too, where Drew can probably attest to it. I mean, Drew, you played a lot of golf. I mean, you get in those funks and, like if you're putting as bad as he is or hitting it, it's just like you just laugh because, like, are any of these going to go in? I mean, you hit so many edges, you're like, okay, this is just freaking ridiculous. And you just basically think you're going to miss every one of them.
Yeah, you will yourself to miss them. You're like,
it's like he's just in one of those funks. And
shadowing.
Just 1 or 2 solid rounds, and he'll get back in it. It's all mental. This game is so mental. It's unbelievable.
Again, is there any weight behind like a change of like style of course, like to help, or is that just it's all mental? It doesn't even matter.
I think it could. Maybe you're switching it up, or
are we just like trying to like find ways like to talk ourselves into playing them?
I just don't think he's been playing that bad. I mean, I'll be the odd one out. I just don't think he's been playing as bad statistically as it looks. So yeah,
he's not hitting the ball bad. I don't think
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, take out the U.S. Open for the last 20 events. I mean, he's been positive off the tee and approach in 80% of those events. So. Like I said, I think JT is not that far off. It's definitely mental. It's definitely with the short game around the green and putting. And like I said, it could be flipped on any given week. May not even need it. I mean, honestly, this golf course, I don't remember what the green regulation rate was, but may not even need some around the green.
Well, I got that. You guys know that GIF where it's like the guy's opening his wallet, and there's no money in there, and he does one of those. I got that ready for this week for when I play JT because that's what it's been this year. That is what it's been for me in this range. I mean, man, I really think Sam Burns is interesting. He's been doing it a lot with his putter though, and I guess what could take me off of that is if putting, if good putting is kind of negated here, kind of like you alluded to, Drew, like doesn't make me like him as much. It would make me like a guy like Tom Kim a little bit more. JT, like we talked about. Adam Scott, though, he's been doing it all. He's been good around the greens. He's been awesome off the tee. He has a ton of distance. All things that I like here as well. So I think there's a lot of names. Again, I think this range, it's a couple things. Ownership and any weather edge draws potentially that we get will come into play for me. So make sure you're in the Discord tomorrow night. We'll be in there late dialing it in for everyone to get the best edge that we can. Let's keep it going. Let's go down to the 7K range. I'll go right back to you, Drew. What are you doing in the 7K range?
Yeah, I got a handful of guys at the top end and then just a sprinkle down low. So I'll break it up for the top guys. I think Smalley's obviously playing great golf. I'll have some exposure to him. He should be in the Barracuda. He'd probably win that event with the strength of field. I mean, there's like 9K guys you probably never heard of. I've never heard of. So it's unfortunate he gets to go over here after being close last week. So Smalley, I do like quite a bit. Gary Woodland, I think is a good fit for him. Good price at 7,600. You're kind of counting on a made cut, a top 25 possibly. Off the tee and approach has been fantastic and just been losing it with the flat stick. So I do like Woodland. And again, it's not a perfect comp to like Pebble Beach, obviously, but I do think like being able to hit it low and flat when the wind picks up is pretty good. And we know Woodland is known for his stinger. So maybe that pops out at some point this weekend. Dietrich and Fox are the two Europeans that I like up here in that mid 7K range at 7,500. And then Doug Gim is the last guy I'll mention in this high range. Been playing great, been playing a lot of him. And actually, one more comment on Dietrich. I think Dietrich I brought up on a show like 2 weeks ago. And I think it was like the Rocket Mortgage or Travelers. And he missed the cut. And Yeah, for the same reasons, I'll go back to him. Like, a guy is super talented. He had a T10 here last year. I mean, I really like the upside for a guy, some of these Europeans to do really well again this week, like they did the last couple of years. For the bottom range, I'll be kind of brief. The guys that I do like are mainly PGA Tour staples. So Benyon, Keith Mitchell, and that's probably it. Like, Higo had a terrible, I shot like 82 last year. Been playing a bit of him, so I can't really go there. And I guess Hust Luton would be the other guy I'll mention that's a European. But I mean, there's decent guys that have, not the best course history that are worth a sprinkle, but they're not like priorities. Guys like Moronk had a miscut here last year. Has been playing decent over in the States. So for me, it's really a focus on that high 7K range. I think there's like a threshold of them down to the low 7s, and they're just a stroke better than those guys. So for me, it's really going to be a focus on that mid to high 7K number.
I love the Doug Gim call, and I think the price, like, just thinking in years past or just events past where we've had a loaded field. I mean, Doug Gim is like low 7K, if not like 6K range. So I like the 7,500 price tag on DK. I think that's sneaky. People just don't like to play him, and he's been playing really good. So I could definitely get on board with him. And the Dietrich, I think I was on him too. It had to be the Rocket Mortgage. Nice bounce back spot though here. So I'm with you there. I like those calls. Snyder, 7K range. What are you doing this week?
Yeah, I think I like more of the guys at the bottom of this range than the top of this range. I know Smalley and Ryle will probably be the two highest owned guys in this 7K range. Have been playing absolutely great golf. Smalley's just been absolutely dialed in with the irons there. Plus 8 strokes last week, plus 7 strokes in Detroit, plus 5.7 strokes at the Travelers. So he's just been absolutely on fire with the irons there for Smalley. Cole's another guy. He's been good with the irons lately. He's just been really having troubles off the tee there. Losing strokes in 5 of his last 6 events. He's been rolling the ball well on the greens, though. And then getting down to this bottom range, I really like a few of these guys down here. First guy I like, I'm not sure if he's going to get steamed up throughout the week, but I really like Alexander Bjork. He's a Euro guy, so he's been crushing it overseas. 5 of his last 6 finishes overseas have been inside the top 10. I think he's the best iron player on the Euro Tour as well. He can get hot with the flat stick though as well. I mean, he's had a few events where he puts the lights out of it. Many won't know much about him as he only plays overseas events, so hopefully that kind of keeps ownership down on him. But I really like him this week. He grades out as like one of the better guys that I have on the model here this week, so I really like him. I talked about Eric Cole a little bit. Alexander Noren showing a little bit of signs of life at the Schwab and then overseas, which led to a top 10 at the Rocket Mortgage. He's played well on the links courses as well, so I think he's fine. And then Jordan Smith's another guy I like to play in these type of events. He plays the majority of his golf overseas as well. Did finish top 20 at the U.S. Open this year, though, last month. Solid option. I think he's got top 10, top 15 upside over here. So Jordan Smith is another Euro that I like over here.
Yeah, I like those. I really like the Jordan Smith call. And, I can definitely get on board with how'd you say his name again?
I don't know. What did
Bjork?
Bjork
like
or
that.
something?
I think it's just Bjork.
Bjork.
It's just Bjork.
Bjork.
I like the Bjork,
Bjork.
though. The
I
Bjork.
gotta learn how to say his name then, because he's gonna
Bjork.
crush this week.
If he doesn't crush, he'll be a Bjork.
The jerk. I love it. That's too good. Locks, 7K range. What are you doing over on DraftKings?
Man, Snyder just sniped a couple names out of my mouth here right at the end. So I'm with you. Jordan Smith, I do like a lot. It's been a guy I've been looking at this whole week so far. And then another guy that's playing really well is Alex Noren. I'm right there with you. The last couple of guys you mentioned. Those are probably a couple of my favorites down here. Eric Cole, I've been playing all year. Just been steady for us. I think he comes through and bounces back a little bit. 42nd last week. I think we see a nice little bounce back and gets up there to contend this week. There's a lot of guys down here too where it's tough. You can build your lineup stars and scrubs, I think, this week pretty easily, or you can build it the other way. There's just so many names that interest me. So as I'm going up, I mean, yeah, looking at the top of the range, you can jam Smalley all day. The guy is just hitting it incredible right now. He's playing such good golf. T10 here last year. Love him if he's not going to get steamed too bad. I'm going to cross off Rye. I don't like that ownership. I'll never play Aaron Rye if he's really above 12%. I think he's going to be 15 to 20 from what I'm seeing. I will not play Aaron Rye at that ownership. I'm crossing off Herbert. No Hogard for me this week. I don't think it's a Brian Harmon course. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to Mr. Little Lefty down there. Woodland, I do like that call, Drew. I'll play a little Woodland with you. I think it's a decent course for him, a decent spot. But for me, I'm crossing off the next few names: Thigala, Gim, Fox, Power. I like a little bit of Fox. I might throw in a little bit of Fox. Sorry, I didn't see that name. I'll throw in a little Fox. I like him at these kind of courses. And then I'm off Power and on Dietrich with you guys. Dietrich's probably my favorite play down here personally. Great course history. I always like him in these events, so I'll play a little Dietrich down here. I think he's going to be my favorite play.
Yeah, very good. Alex Smalley for me, like those builds that I was talking about where you start in the 9K range, I think he's a perfect fit because he's another guy that gives you nice, top 10 plus upside. I mean, he, in his last two of his last three events, he's finished inside the top 10. Again, more so birdie fest. It could play that way this week, and if it does, I think it benefits him. At least it could play that way until Sunday if the current forecast holds true. But again, Alex Smalley, with how he's been playing, the irons have been really good. I could definitely see him up there. So I like that call. Gary Woodland was interesting. I had him circled, and I had no idea what to do with him. Just a name down here, hits the ball pretty good. The putter's bad. So again, if you like the bad putters can do well here, Tom Kim last year, he would be a guy that would fit the mold pretty well. Doug Gim, I got to steal that one from you guys. I'm on board. Dietrich as well. Eric Cole, I like him, 7,400. Again, the guy's just been playing really good. Solid around the greens as well. Not the longest off the tee, but I'm fine. They're going to get some rollout here. I mean, we saw that. Didn't Ricky hit like a 400 and some yard bomb off the tee on one of the holes? I assume it was like down. I just saw it on Twitter. I assume it was like a downhill, and it just caught the perfect roll. I don't know if you guys saw that or not.
Heard about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, that's going to happen. What?
They tweeted it out. I didn't see it. I don't know.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, they're like, 404 or something.
Yeah, I mean, that happens at Opens. I mean, if the course is playing firm and fast, you get the roll, you hit the right spot. So, yeah, guys with little distance can do well here also. So, Eric Cole, I like him. I think you guys thought Jordan L. Smith is the one guy I really liked. I do think he'll get a little bit of ownership as well. Brandon Wu played well here last year, but I mean, the guy he showed a little upside at the RBC Canadian Open T9, but outside of that, he's been pretty bad. I don't know if I want to go chasing with him there. I was looking at Patrick Rogers, but his form coming into this, 2 missed cuts. I don't know if I can go there either. So I might be with you on more of the Europeans down here, and especially in the 6K range, and that makes for a really great transition. Drew, take us in the 6K range. Talk to us about some values down in the dumpster diving range.
Yeah, so I will caveat this range as remembering that the European Tour is like a shot and a half worse than the PGA Tour. So I try to remind folks every year when they come overseas and obviously head into the British Open, like there's a difference between the PGA Tour talent. Obviously, there's recent form involved, but there's a difference between the PGA Tour talent in this range versus the European Tour guys in this range. And if you were to go through a lot of these European Tour guys, you'll start to see the volatility. I mean, like Pablo Larrazabal is a guy that's really interesting at 6,700. He has 2 wins in like the last 3 months, maybe 2 months, but he has like 3 missed cuts as well. He's just all over the place. Stats don't look good, just up and down, but he has a lot of upside. Same with Jorge Campillo. So the guys that really stand out to me quite a bit is Matthew Pavon. He's a European Tour guy. Guido Migliozzi. I can't do a show without mentioning him over here on the European Tour. Guido is a really interesting kid. One of the best ball strikers on the European Tour every single season. So I will play some Guido at 6,700. I'm fine with some of the European Tour guys at the top of the range. Michael Kim, I'm fine going to Callum Tarrant as well. And I think the last guy that I mentioned, I lost him. I might have to come back to him. It was either
you going to Man Bun? That's the one.
Seam.
I
looked at Seam. I don't think I can do it. Probably just because of the Man Bun. To be fair,
yeah. I think we always make him an auto fade because of the Man Bun.
I mean you can't. Yeah, I mean like if the PGA Tour's ready, they're obviously not going to let this guy be up there on Sunday. So
what's Big T's note on him?
I have no idea. I can't wait to see though.
So that's probably it. I won't play anybody under 6,500. I'll be very clear there. I think there is a real, serious drop off down there for me at least. But yeah, in that top range, like I do think the guys that are up here in the high sixes that are PGA Tour level players, granted they should show some form. It's still relative to the guys that are from the European Tour. I mean, Michael Kim's going to beat most of these guys every single time he tees it up for the majority of the fields they play. So that's kind of the lean that I will take is playing a handful of these guys that have like seen upside in the last like 2 months, with top fives, top tens, kind of consider it like a Korn Ferry Tour. Like you're not going to play guys that are finishing like T40 on the Korn Ferry Tour on a PGA Tour event. So like the same goes for the European Tour. Give me some upside. Give me some guys like Pablo Lorthal has 2 wins, all over the place. I'll get a sprinkle. Same with Matthew Pavon. Pavon's probably my favorite European down here.
I like it. And absolutely crushed in the names. I mean, I
only picked the names I can pronounce. Trust me.
I was specifically avoiding them because I didn't want to absolutely butcher their names.
There's some bad ones. Yeah, there's some bad ones. I only picked the ones I could pronounce.
What was the
practice?
What was the Pablo one?
Pablo Lorthal, Larazabao.
Okay, very good. I got them checked. I like it. You always crush these calls too, so I am on board. Snyder,
the dude's won twice. I mean, yeah, he's beaten all these guys down here twice in the last 3 months. Give me a shot on him in GPP at least,
It looks like he's not going to be owned too, right?
Yeah, I mean, none of these guys will be
owned. None of these guys will.
Yeah.
I love
you don't got to go crazy.
Yeah, with like Scotty I love that. I love that call. Snyder 6K range. Are we going to find any soldiers down here in this range this week?
There's one definite soldier down here. I definitely am right there with Drew. I really like Matthew Pavon down here. He's one of my favorite options on the board, I think, this week. Like the price tag there, 12 of his last 13 made cuts coming off of 3 finishes inside the top 20 with a 7th place in one of those. Mainly plays the Euro Tour. Has made all 3 of his last 3 cuts here at the Scottish Open at the Renaissance Club. I really like him for a value play. Another Matthew I like down here is Matthew Southgate. He was 26th here in 2021 and 9th in 20. Was top 10 last week at Himmerland overseas. He's popped a couple times recently. I think he's an interesting guy. 6,800, right by Pablo. He's right down there too. I think there's a few guys. I'm not going to get too carried away, but I think those 3 were the 3 guys that I was definitely looking at here. As for Euro recent form and such, I really like Pavon though. I think he may just make the soldier segment, but I think Southgate, he's got a couple of good finishes here at this event as well. So I think. And Pablo's got that win equity, like Drew was saying. So, all 3 of those guys are probably my top guys down here in the 6K range.
Yeah, very good. Locks, we'll kick it over to you. I got to ask, Dylan Wu, is there any chance that you're going to be playing our boy at? And the only thing we got going for Dylan Wu is a little workbench flop lag going for him. Sometimes these plays, when they suck and they're the bench play the week before, they end up doing pretty good the next week. Mr. Wu was the bench play last week. So.
The bench play flop leg is kind of why I would play him. So, I mean, I might have to get on board. He might have to be in there. He actually has been playing good golf. I mean, a few missed cuts in there, but really he's hitting the ball okay. You can get a lot worse than him. So he'll be in the pool. I mean, none of these guys are going to be very heavy. It's just guys that, hey, if you want to end your lineup down here, these are guys we're mentioning for you. It's not like, hey, we're locking this $6,700 guy. No, that's not a thing. So I'll just name a few on top of the ones you guys like because, I'm with you there. I like Pavon the best down here, I think. So I'd make that 3 out of 3 for us. Looking at these other names, I like Romain Langasque. That's a guy that has been playing well too. Really, I mean, he's played here 3 times, got a 3rd place finish. It's a guy I've seen kind of place in there for us. I think he placed 54th in his last PGA Tour event, but just a name down here that I'll play. Eddie Pepperell, another guy that I wanted to mention. 2 top 10s here the last 4 times. So another dude over there that I don't mind playing down in this range. But as I'm looking down more, yeah, I'm with you guys. I don't even want to pronounce Pablo's last name, so I'm with you there, Drew.
It's an easy one. It's Pablo. Come on.
I mean, it's sure, whatever you said. That sounds good.
I got one more for you really quick. I think this one's a good one. The cheapest I'll go, and I think you can pronounce his name. Samuja.
I was just going to say Samuja.
Samuja.
Yep.
Well, I stole it. There you go. And
you stole it right out of my mouth. I was going to.
I was going to say it. I was going to say it too.
Yeah, everyone was going to say it. Snyder's over raising his hand.
And then I wanted to mention one guy way down. Oh, man. I can't think of his. I can't find him now.
How do you say his first name? Callie, I think. Cal? Samuja.
I think it's Callie, but I don't know.
I don't know. I can't find him now. There's a guy I was looking at earlier. Go ahead, AP. I'm not sure. That's about it.
I mean, hopefully it wasn't Scott Stallings.
No.
He's been horrible.
He's been bad. If I think about it,
I'll tell you a name, AP, that you would not believe is down here, and you shouldn't play him, but he just caught my eye. Hao Tong Lee is a guy I know you've played before. He's probably been a
Hao Tong Lee.
Hao Tong Lee.
No, he hasn't. No, I don't think I've ever played him. Yeah.
Oh man, he used to be good.
AP, your boy Hemi's only 63.
Oh no, that was like a 1 week. That was a 2 week thing. That was.
He did well last week, didn't he?
Yeah,
I mean, what did he do last week? No, I don't even want to know. I mean, don't even tell me. I don't want to be.
He was decent going into Sunday. I don't know what he shot Sunday. I think he was in the top 30 or something going into Sunday.
Oh, is Troy Merritt way down there too? He's fallen on tough times.
Has he been added to the player field?
Someone in chat mentioned it. Yeah, did he? Yeah, we can't go there.
I mean, he probably got added. I just don't have him in my pricing.
Yeah, for me, like I have a little bit of interest in Kevin Yu. I think that's a name that hasn't been mentioned. He's shown that it's like Drew, what you're saying. He's these sprinkles, guys that have shown some upside recently, sprinkle them in. You guys talked to me on Pavon. Is that his name?
Pavon, yeah.
Yeah, Pavon. Dylan Wu, I got to go back. I did actually like his form coming in. He just couldn't score last week, and that's what you need at the John Deere. I mean, if you can't score, you're not going to do well at the John Deere Classic. I mean, that is for sure. Harry Hall is another name that I like. I like what he does around the greens. He grades out pretty well for me there. I think that should suit him well in a link-style track. Those are 2 names, and then Michael Kim as well, 6,600, another guy that I'm on. I added all those guys that you mentioned, though. I think Guido, I think he's good. Pablo, I think he's good. And Pavon, I think he's good as well. So I mean, I'm making more cuts down here than adding to the player pool, but I like those names that you all mentioned. My favorite, I just got to go back to Dylan Wu. I like what I was seeing. I got to go at least one more week. If he fails me this week, I can follow. I can move off him after that. So let's wrap this up. Let's get to our winners, final thoughts, and then we'll get out of here. How we do it each and every week. We're going to give you who we think wins and then a favorite long shot that we like. Drew, I'll go to you first. Who do you like to win this week?
Oh, man. I think dude, I think Fowler goes back-to-back.
I like that call.
I think Fowler's going to do it. He's going to be up there. He's going to at least be up there. And you want a long shot?
Yeah. Yep.
Man, that's tough. You might have to go around the horn and come back to me because I don't have 100 plus on the
We
top
can do
of my
that.
head. Yeah.
Snyder, you're up next, sir.
I'm just going to go with Scotty. I think if he gains anything putting here, he could beat these guys by 5 strokes this week. If he puts to a 0 here on these greens, I'm going to go Scotty as the chalk then, I guess. I just don't really like these odds on other guys. Like, I don't like Ricky at sub 20-1 odds with Scotty in the field. I don't like Hovland. I don't like Hatton, sub 20 odds, and they're in the same field as Scotty. So I'm just going to go with Scotty at 7-1. Maybe you can get a boost out there to 8.5 or something for a long shot. I'll load some more guys here. Where is?
Why is Sahith like? I'm showing like 80-1 or even higher than that. Yeah, 80-1. Is this just a bad course fit for him? Like link style?
He's 100-1 at DraftKings. Looks like.
Do you guys have a take on that? I know none of us mentioned him either.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about him this week.
I'm gonna go with
showing me too much.
I'm gonna go with my guy Alexander Bjork at 150-1 to win.
Bjork.
I gotta Google how to pronounce that.
Bjork.
Bjork.
Yeah, I believe. I mean,
Bjork.
Yeah, Bjork.
Bjork.
It's like New York, but with a B and
yeah.
York. Bjork.
All right, Locks.
Bjork.
Bjork, yeah. I think he'll be Bjork for you. All right, Locks.
He's going to be first round leader.
I mean, I could see that. I could definitely see that.
He'd still be a jerk.
I'm gonna lock him in. That Paven guy in. I'm gonna print.
Pavon. I like it. Locks. Who do you got winning this week?
This week, I think this is technically a PGA Tour event. Am I correct? Right?
Yeah.
I think Tommy Fleetwood.
Oh man, that's why I had
to take this thing down. He's playing such good golf this week. I think he's going to come in lower owned because he missed the cut at the Travelers. So I'm going to take Tommy Fleetwood. That's my boy this week.
and it would count as his like first PGA Tour win, right?
Yeah, exactly.
With an asterisk by it.
I think so. So I think he's going to take it down. I like the Ricky call, Drew. I love the back-to-back call for him. I've been on him all year. Called it last week, so I loved it, man. It was so good for golf, honestly. Right now, it was great to see Ricky win. So I do like that call with you.
You can get Fleetwood at 22-1.
What's that?
You can get Fleetwood at 22-1 at BetMGM. That's the best number.
Okay. Looking down the board for me, my long shot. I'm gonna go deep here. I'm gonna go Jordan L. Smith. Actually, what are his odds to take this thing down?
I think
he's the best odds you can get is 125-1 right now at BetMGM.
Boom, Jordan L. Smith up there.
I'm gonna give my long shot first, Thomas Dietrich, just because I don't want to get it taken from me. 125-1. I really like that call. I think Tyrell Hatton, a guy I really like. Safe pick up top to win. Drew, do you have your long shot ready?
I do.
And then give us your final thoughts. You can go right into it.
Gary Woodland, 100-1. I think he's right at or 90-1. He's right there, but you can find a number. Yeah, final thoughts. Keep an eye on the weather. We'll be in Discord. We'll be monitoring. I know I can tell Snyder has 2 or 3 monitors up already. He's already checking all the radars. So we'll be monitoring that, and lock will be early. But yeah, like I said, I think the biggest thing to remember it is, PGA Tour caliber players are going to be a notch above the European. So don't get too carried away chasing the European Tour guys. But just remember there is some upside with them. Have some fun picking them out and trimming your player pool. But again, I always would take the PGA Tour guy over a European Tour guy. There's a reason why they're on those tours. So that's my final thoughts.
I like it. Great advice there. Snyder, final thoughts.
Yeah, just looking forward to a different style of golf here this week as we kind of lead into our last major before we get the playoffs going here with the Open next week. So, yeah, like Drew said, we'll be in Discord chat. I'll have the playbook up later tonight. The cast chart will be up as well. And then we'll have the core plays and all that up, as well as Showdown coming full steam this weekend, as usual, with the playbook rounds 1 through 4.
Those cash chart plays have actually been like awesome in tournaments too. So I always check that, and I sneak them in. They've been doing very well. So good stuff on that, Snyder. Locks, final thoughts this week.
Yeah, not much. Same as every week. Obviously, it sounds like there could be some weather. Snyder, right? So I just pay attention to that. Discord will update you guys. Snyder's always on top of that stuff, so we normally don't have to worry about it. But just pay attention in there. Go with your gut. Yeah, same thing. Let's run Pier and gear up for the last major of the year.
Yeah, very well said. I couldn't agree with you more. My final thoughts are it's a fun event. I think it's a fun event, too, to take some shots, take some leverage shots, too. Like if you just think about guys that should be motivated for a good finish, especially links track. Like I think of Sammy Burns. I think of some of those guys. I think those guys are going to provide some nice leverage as well. And mixing and matching them with the guys that are coming in form. Ricky Fowler. Wyndham Clark, another play I like as well. Awesome doing the show with you fellas. All the premium content's going to be up tomorrow, nice and early. We'll be in Discord tomorrow night. For the people breaking it all down. Really excited to get us started, to get some links golf going, heading into the final major of the year. With that, for Drew, for Locks, for Snyder, get us out of here.